guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all enjoying your 2017 so far and that it is bookish and it is relaxing and all that good stuff. Today I am going to talk a little bit about some of my favorite and not so favorite books of 2016. When I was going through and I was thinking about the books that I read last year, I found it a bit difficult to place certain books in the either best or worst category, and I think that it just comes down to my personal reading experience. So if a book happens to be in the worst category and it was your favorite book, please let me know why you thought that, because I would love to discuss these books that I've read. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. The first book that I'm going to talk about I read during the Spookathon, and that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This book is so ominous and wonderful. It is about a young girl named Eleanor who is brought to Hill House at the request of a doctor named Mr. Montague, who basically is setting out to prove the existence of the supernatural. Eleanor is a very complacent and shy girl who up until this point in life has only taken care of her ill mother until she died, and so there's not a lot in her life that is very exciting, and so she has decided to come to this house to basically try to learn about herself and learn about life. You are in Eleanor's head, and Eleanor is experiencing this house in a very different way. It is unsettling, but it is simultaneously poignant and beautiful. There is themes of identity. There is something about this book that is just flippant towards the idea of the supernatural. There's moments of humor that just seem so displaced, and that just makes you feel even more unsettled as a reader. Definitely a heavy book, not one that you'd expect to be heavy. It is a fairly short book, but I spent a lot of time with it. So good, so creepy. Do not read this book at night. I made that mistake. The other book that I absolutely fell in love with right at the end of the year during the holiday booktubeathon is The Mad Woman Upstairs by Catherine Lowell. This book is about the last living heir of the Bronte family. I am a huge Bronte fan. I took a class on the Brontes in college and I learned a lot about Emily and Charlotte. What's really fascinating about this book is that it looks at Anne Bronte, which is the lesser known sister of the Bronte family. She wrote Agnes Grey and The Tenant of Whitefell Hall. But before I get ahead of myself, the main character, Samantha Whipple, goes to college. She's living in this tower, which is very Bronte-like, and everyone thinks that she is left this giant Bronte estate when her father dies in this tragic fire. When he dies, he only leaves her an Emily Dickinson bookmark, and she has no idea what it means. Cue in James Orville III, which is her tutor, who has this fantastic library that is the thing of daydreams, I swear. And just imagine a Rochester Heathcliff conglomerate who went to college. Can we just appreciate that for just a couple of seconds? She is immediately smitten with his intelligence, and the book encapsulates these wonderfully hashed out academic conversations having to do with authorial intent versus reader intent, which is very interesting. Basically, how much of the author's life impacts their novel, and what should we consider about their life in context with the book when we're trying to figure out its meaning. Isn't too heavy because there's a lot of modern humor in the book, which is just so good. I love it so much. Now if you're someone out there who's like, I couldn't even get through Jane Eyre, I can't read this, like I can't read about the Brontes, you should read this because it is a great entry point for the Brontes. You learn so much about their lives. I feel so much smarter just reading this book. So while there were some books that I totally fell in love with this year, there was also some books that sort of failed to meet my expectations and were kind of disappointing. The first book that I kind of want to talk about is Girl Interrupted by Susanna Kaysen. Now, this was one of the first books that I picked up in 2016. I was dissatisfied because I remember picking up this book because I had just read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. And so I was really interested in reading books about mental illness, and I picked up this book because the back of the book said that the hospital, McLean Hospital, where the main character goes, was renowned for its famous clientele, including Sylvia Plath, Robert Lowell, James Taylor, and Ray Charles. It just took me so long to get through, and I think it's because the timeline, it's very disjointed, and the main character is very apathetic towards her situation in life. There isn't a lot of thorough character development, and then the side characters, which have a lot of potential for character development, end up being very lackluster, and you don't really feel too much for them. Ultimately, I left the book feeling very dissatisfied. It took me over a month to finish this book. I feel like I finished it because I was hoping for more. I was hoping that it would end with this very poignant degree of finality, which just put me in the mindset where I would understand why the book drags on so much. But it really doesn't. It ends kind of abruptly. I appreciate Susanna Kayson's journey. I appreciate her bravery for coming out and speaking about her mental illness, but I myself just did not enjoy the book as a whole. Another book that made me feel kind of underwhelmed this year was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I already sort of hashed it out in my June wrap-up video. This book just made me feel a little bit cheated emotionally. I felt like there was a lot of points in the book where I was supposed to feel a lot, like I was supposed to cry, but I didn't. And so I felt like I was a bad reader. I felt like I wasn't on the same page as the author. I was hoping that the author would use Will's situation to make a nice statement about illness. Instead, to me, it kind of felt like for Will, it was like, you have an illness, you can't really do anything. But there are so many people out there who are doing things with illnesses, whether it's physical or mental or terminal. Literally just check out Zach Enner, a great YouTuber with cerebral palsy, and he is just fantastic, and he does so much, and he's so positive, and it's wonderful. I really wanted the author to use a book like this to bring light to characters and people like that in real life. But instead, it just feels like the book is very much in a box. Emotionally and life-wise, I wasn't convinced. I know this is a contentious idea and a contentious viewpoint. I would be happy to discuss this with you further in the comment section below, so please feel free to let me know what you think there. Thank you guys so much for watching. As I mentioned before, let me know what you think of my best and worst in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit that red subscribe button if you want to see what I'm going to be doing next. See you in the next video. Bye!